You're on Santa's lap. Move forward.
Which way?
Move forward.
Getting a lot of questions lately. I'm taking a little break from our regular programming. We're not cooking, we're not criticizing myself, I'm not in a car with another chef. So I thought, you know, I'd actually prompt some questions. So I put it out on Facebook the other day. I was saying, hey everybody, you're awesome. If there's anything, and there's no topic I won't answer, if there's anything you'd like to ask me, I'd be more than happy to answer it, but it's gonna be on a YouTube video. So by putting a comment down, you're legally agreeing to be a part of this YouTube video right now. Our lawyer made us say that. Scott K. So I actually know Scott really well, only because he and his wife and their child have been loyal food truck customers for years now. They pretty much eat at our food truck every single C&E. I'm pretty sure Scott has been wanting to get into the food truck biz. So thank you, Scott, for reaching out. And he asked a very nice question. So he goes, how do you stay so loyal and friendly to all the people that support your business and not let all the fame go to your head like some other big name chefs? So first off, I don't think I'm a big name chef at all. And nor do I think there's any sort of fame. I think I'm very lucky, I'm very honored, very enthusiastic about all the opportunities that that have come our way, but at the end of the day, we're cooking food, we're not curing illnesses. So it's not like I want to make it sound like, oh, we're this and that. Like, no, but thank you for pointing that out. And then I think, you know, the idea of loyalty and friendly, that's my personality. I'm just being me. So I'd like to think that these are my qualities. If I was a dick pre this, then I'd be a dick during this, but I'd like to think I'm a friendly guy. Yeah, I think when people ask me hey chef, you know, I'd like to consider myself more of a food entrepreneur than a chef. I think chef has a certain kind of accreditation and credentials. And yeah, you know, I definitely cook food for a living and I experiment with food for a living like a chef does, but I just don't feel comfortable with taking that moniker on. I think Matt will do just fine. Matt, that's what my mom calls me. Actually, she calls me Matthew. All right, so Jen L asks, will you ever come down here to the States? If so, please bring Kai. I love you too. And my other question is, what chef have you always wanted to meet? So I travel to the US all the time. In fact, I've seen more of the US than I probably have of my own country. Just because it's sometimes interesting to see what other, I don't know why we go, we just go. For example, the last city that Kai and I went to was Seattle, and I loved Seattle. I wasn't really sure what to expect. It had an amazing food scene. Philadelphia was another city that I was blown away by how cool it was. I didn't really know what to expect. Philly, and the food scene and the craft beer scene was very cool. So I'm always looking for suggestions where to travel. I think travel is actually how I've evolved and refined my ability to cook and think about food ideas. What chef have I always wanted to meet? Well, to be honest, I've had that opportunity. I always wanted to meet Roy Choi, who's like the original food trucker. He invented the Korean food truck, the Koji truck in LA, and I had the opportunity to meet Roy Choi in season 2. And that's actually probably been the most nervous I've ever been my entire professional career. And I remember when we were filming the night before, they were like, Matt, like you actually look nervous, are you okay? Like you never get, and I don't get nervous. I usually just get up and do my thing and go home after. But I was genuinely nervous to meet Roy Choi. Because that's like if you're an up and coming hockey player and you got to meet like Wayne Gretzky, I'm sure it'd have the same kind of ripple effect. I was really nervous, and he's a very quiet guy. He's not as talkative as I thought he was going to be. But then the more we were talking, the more he was just being himself, and it was great. Really got to pick his brain and just hear how he feels about food. And it was inspiring because, like I said, I really looked up to him and always wanted to meet him. All right, what is your biggest tip for someone starting out? Where, besides friends, did you go online, etc., to find out how to do everything? Pricing, bulk buying, etc. So it's more of this is Debbie D. Debbie D is asking more of like an operational question. So biggest tip for someone starting out. I guess my question is like, if you're starting out with a restaurant or starting out with a food truck, they're two very different things. Yes, you're both selling food in both, but as someone who's done both, I can promise you, because one system worked in one capacity does not mean it will transfer over, and quick service is the same thing. I think the best thing to do is really work in that environment and surround yourself in that environment. So if you want to open up a food truck, you should go work on a food truck. If you want to open up a burger chain, you should go work at a burger chain. And for no other reason than to just get familiar with it and understand operationally why you need to know these things. And then the next thing you ask is, besides friends, did I go online, etc., how to do everything. So I think, especially with the food truck, for example, like every city has different bylaws and different hoops you have to jump through to get your truck licensed by your particular city. A lot of that information now is available to people, but when we were just getting started off, it was still very much gray area. So a lot of the information came by trial and process. I'd go to the city to try and license something, and then I'd be like, oh, you're missing a document there and there. So from all those ups and downs and experiences, we were able to kind of craft our own little how-to. That way, if we ever needed to do it again, we knew exactly what we were doing. Pam Saint A says, did you inherit your passion for cooking from your mom? Well, we just talked to my mom not that long ago. That was fun. Did I passion from cooking from my mom? To a certain degree, yes. I would say it was more from my grandparents, so my mom's parents. My mom's dad and my mom's mom. Mainly because both my parents worked when I was a kid, so I spent a lot of time with my grandparents growing up. When you're Italian Canadian, they're your nonno and your nonna, and they would make meatballs and fresh pasta all the time and sauce from scratch. And if you were the only grandson like I was, I would be often put to work. So that's how I learned about food and had an appreciation for food at such a young age, and then it just kind of naturally took over my life. Michael R says, most chefs have a love affair with their knives. Do you have a special knife that you use or that you just can't live without? What makes it special? All right, let me show you. I can't back. Okay, so, well, it comes in a box for starters, which is very fancy. Very fancy, and it's Japanese steel. It's a Miyabi, and I love not only its weight distribution, I love the length of the blade, I love how thin the blade is. It's a good multi-purpose knife, it's super sharp, and that's my favorite go-to knife, my Miyabi. I'm based in the UK, and I'm really interested in starting a pop-up food truck, but I have no idea where to start. Any tips would be very helpful. Well, I guess it starts with an idea. I think have a really interesting idea that no one else is doing, and use that as your catalyst for more. And take your time with it. Don't feel the need to rush. Start with one idea and really build it out, and test it on the people that are closest to you in your life. Because if you can't get them to buy in, then you're gonna have a hard time. Yay! Well, that was fun. There was a lot of questions. I wasn't expecting that. That was great. A lot of travel questions, which is great because I love to travel. All right, so that was it. Asking questions and answering them. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, or dare I say a question. Questions on questions on questions.